there's going to be pain and suffering. So let me just kind of break this down for you. Jamaica's birth rate has fallen to 1.9. Now, for a society to have a stable population, they need a birth rate of 2.1 or at least 2 children per woman, right? Now, what this means for us is that we are going to very, very soon have a chronic shortage of people in our population. So when we talk about 30, 40 years from now, we're going to have a huge issue, because with all that has happened in society and all our liberation, etc., the biology of man has not changed. And so it is still once a man and twice a child. And so when it is that we get older, 30, 40 years from now, those of us who are, 35 and 30 and over 40, that sort of thing, then we are not going to have any caregivers, yeah? Now, this is a problem that many countries have been facing, and the more developed countries, they have found ways of coping. But I dare say to you that these coping strategies will not work for us, because we are a small, poor country. And so whereas Canada and the US could find ways to import labor so that they could have caregivers for the elderly, we won't be able to import labor, because Jamaica just does not have the pull factors necessary to pull a person from them yard to come to Jamaica to come and look after our elderlies as caregivers. It's as simple as that. We don't have it. You understand what I'm saying? And so if it is that we are going to have persons later on, nurses, if we're going to have doctors, if we're going to have people just to help us when it is that we're at our worst, to give us a drink of water, we need to start having children so that we can have caregivers. Now, I know many persons will misconstrue this message to say, oh, so we must just have children so we can have caregivers. Yeah, I know persons will say that, but I will say to you that if we do not give of ourselves right now so that we can have children and spend time to grow and nurture and love them, when it is that we are going to be in need of nurturing and caring, we will have nobody. It's as simple as that. And no matter how we want to postulate and posit and talk about what should be, the reality of it won't change. Yeah, life is as it is. And I will say to you that there are others that are asking me, why am I speaking to the women? Why am I not talking to the men? Yeah, because there are many, many women, if they find the right man, a man that is a good man, that proves himself to be a protector and a provider, even if they're not wealthy, they would have their children and they would move forward. It is just that there is such a chronic shortage of men like these. Yeah, so they're saying, talk to the men, don't talk to the women. But I have to speak to the women. One, because women are the ones that have children. And two, when we think about the persons who will sit and think about the future, who are planning about what's going to happen to their lives, when they're 65 and 70, it's not men. Most men don't look past them nose. There are some out there that don't even intend to live past 40, even though they are living to 70 and suffering. They're not thinking about it. It's women who are thinking about it. And so I have to get the message to women to say, hey, we have to find a way to start having children. We have to change this psyche. We have to change this particular view that, I'm choosing happy, so I'm not going to have children. Mash down that lie. When did it become that children will automatically mean that your life is going to change for the worse? That has not been my experience at all. At all. You understand what I'm saying? Nor is it true that you have to be wealthy to have children. When did we get to the point that where we believe that our rich childhood is the only good childhood? No, I will say to you that I try my best to give my children all that I can. You understand? And so, the things that they are able to do, I didn't even dream of. But that doesn't mean that they're happier than I was. They might be as happy as I am, but I can tell you that they aren't more loved than I was, that they aren't as, more happy than I was growing up. And I was blessed as a child. I was loved, I was supported, and we were poor, we were not wealthy. And so I'm not saying that we ought to be poor and have children. I'm saying plan for children. I'm saying that if you are 25, your next 10-year plan must include 2 children, because we're going to need children and therefore adults later on, unless if we don't get that, we're going to suffer pain and suffering. And if you're 30 and 35, you're living in your future right now, you need a 3-year plan. You understand what I'm saying? To have children. Yeah? And so I don't know if the solutions that I can give to you as to how we're going to get to the point where women are having children are going to be the best solutions. Yeah, but at least the conversation needs to start. That persons with brighter minds than I, bigger brains than I, can come up with the sort of solution that can save us from ourselves. Because the norms and values that we're developing right now, where we are against childbearing and against child rearing, is going to lead to sufferation. You know what I'm saying? Me and you, physical. Because remember, we are living longer and dying slower. And when I say we're dying slower, it's because we're having this whole heap of ailments. Yeah? So even though we are alive, we're not really living. We are just dying, and we're going to need persons to assist us. And if we don't have children, when we say pain and suffering. And so I am saying today, spread the message far and wide. I am saying if you're 25, 26, 27, 28, if you're 35, it's urgent. The time is now. Jamaican women need to start having children. You understand? And if you're against this message, say something. As my friend would say, come fight me. Because at least then the conversations would begin and we can start getting to a point where we have solutions, because there is a change that is necessary.